Okay, here's a bit of a challenge for you. Have a go at pronouncing this. Yep, it's a bit of a struggle to say, and unless you know what you're looking for, good luck trying to find it on the map. This capital city, Ljubljana, up until now, has managed to go under the radar. This is the capital of Slovenia, a small country in Central Europe. Its more well-known neighbours are Italy to the west and Austria to the north. And it also shares borders with Hungary and Croatia. Much like the rest of Europe, most Slovenians speak some English, so getting around is easy. Even so, I've got myself a guide. Martin Šuštašić is the local history buff.
Yes, well, the buildings, as they were created here for the past few centuries, means they had remained virtually intact for the last 70 or 80 years. And of course also that's why, just like frozen in time, you can see here many different buildings, such as, well, from Art Deco to mostly, of course, Baroque buildings around here.
Well, there's heaps of history wrapped up in this city, a lot of it untouched by war. In fact, in the early 90s, Slovenia gained independence from Yugoslavia in a war that lasted just 10 days.
It's quite...
And I love the fact that you don't have to go too far to see all the best bits of the city. It's sort of all in the one area, isn't it? All the highlights.
Yeah, that means all the highlights would be sort of centred right in this medieval city centre. And of course, a little bit around. But of course, everything is within walking distance of each other.
Ljubljana River runs through the city and is crossed by more than a dozen bridges. And right near the Triple Bridge is where you'll find the Central Market. This is a great thing about coming to the markets. You can actually pick up morning tea and have a look around, and there's a real buzz to the place. There's wildflowers, there's dairy, there's meat, you name it, it's here. So mushrooms are a specialty of Slovenia?
Yes, from sauces, but of course mostly soups would be eaten here.
Really?
From mushrooms. Especially those mushrooms you can see here, that means this sort would be perfect for soups.
This is the biggest mushroom I have ever seen. Massive. Why is it so big?
Well, I don't know, because of all the rain. That means usually mushrooms grow when...
Okay, he's outdone me. Now this is the biggest mushroom I have ever seen. Can I not touch it? Oh, oops, I'm going to get into trouble. It's massive.
And of course also they would grow much bigger than this here. That means you can have mushrooms that can weigh up to 10, 20 kilos. But of course they would be so old, because they take time to grow, that they wouldn't be edible anymore.
In January this year, Slovenia became the first of the 10 new EU states to adopt the euro. And the locals will tell you the prices have gone up a bit since then. But in terms of Europe, it still is an affordable place to visit. I might buy some socks. These are gorgeous.
You cook, that's it.
You make these?
Yes, yes.
Where is the wool from?
Australia.
Australia?
Merino wool. I was doing that.
Have you been to Australia?
62 years.
You lived in Australia for 62 years?
Yes.
Oh, and you're back?
Yeah.
So now I have to ask you, what does Ljubljana mean? What does it mean?
Beloved.
Beloved?
Yeah. Ljubljana means beloved. Ljubljana.
The brand new funicular takes you up to the city's castle, which dates back to the 16th century and has the best views of the city. Now back in town, you'll find somewhere pretty much the opposite to a castle. Now the last place you want to end up when you're on holidays is the lockup, but This just happens to be voted the hippest hostel in the world, and you don't even have to stay here to check it out. So, we're going to do some time. The Selica hostel is in the Metelkova district. These one-time Yugoslav Federal Army barracks are now a popular hangout for students and backpackers.
The building used to be a prison for more than 100 years. After that, around 80 artists wanted to transform the building into something unique. And on this first floor, there are 20 former prison cells, which are unique. Each of them is made by its own author or a group of artists. We can have a look at the 116. I'm sure...
Okay, cell 116, here we go. Let's have a look. This is so cool. Who would have thought you would ever pay to stay in jail?
This is the most romantic cell, by my opinion. It's a cell with a round bed.
So it's like the honeymoon suite?
Something like that, yeah.
Well, if you're not staying here, then free guided tours run every day at 2 o'clock. And I'm told Aussies outnumber most other guests at the hostel. So of all the places in the world, I run into another Aussie. Nick?
Yes.
How are you going from Adelaide? Good. What cell are you staying in tonight?
203.
Cell 203.
Yeah, cell 203. 4 people. Yeah.
So you have to share your cell?
That's correct, yes.
That's a bit scary, isn't it?
No, I'm used to it. Yeah.
You've been in prison before?
Not prison, no.
Ljubljana has a young population, mostly due to all the students attending its universities and art colleges. So it's not hard to make friends if you know where to hang out. Meet Ushka.
You know, as you can see, there are lots of cafes down the river and on the other side and around in the center. Anyway, it has a soul.
Seems like you're the mountain. Making the little things sweat. Did you ever think there could be a better?
Well, I am a big fan of this beautiful city, but between all of its European neighbours, I've got to say it has the best of all worlds. Really is an easy place to get around, to get familiar with, but I am still struggling with the name. Ljubljana is the capital of Slovenia, and it's about a 3-hour drive from Venice in Italy. Intrepid Travel has an 8-day Slovenia and Croatia tour, including accommodation, most meals and all transport, starting from around $2,285 per person twin share. Emirates has flights to Venice starting at $1,485 from Perth, $1,843 from Melbourne, $1,853 from Brizzy and $1,861 from Sydney.